peaceful out here. The roosters, the loud roosters are gone. I got a couple of roos, right? Well, they're out in the country where they can sing all they want. I'm so happy. So today's video is going to be about loofah and my recommendation for planting loofah. If you're going to plant loofah, right? Just like these sweet potatoes that are trailing across this tarp, loofah, you never know how big it's going to get and how aggressive it's going to get. Some of them are sparse and they produce a lot of fruit like these. See that? Nice big loofah. And initially these loofah are gonna be heavy. When you touch them, it's like they're bowls full of water, and they get a lot bigger than this. This one is kind of sparse. I don't know why. Loofah does what loofah does, but this is the thing that I don't like about loofah. It will attach to your plants and it will engulf your plants. Do not plant it next to anything that it can wrap up on. That's why I planted it on this fence. It doesn't seem to like it here. Well, this one doesn't. Let's go and see what it really looks like. Now, this one was planted just as at the same time as the one we're getting ready to see. This one has fruit on it. See that? See that? That's nice, right? Let's go down Raggedy Lane. You can probably hear a bunch of chickens following us because we're going around the chicken coop. I gotta fix this. Look at that. Guess what that is? Yep, loofah. Loofah is aggressive. It's beautiful though. Look at that. They were planted the same time. The only difference is that this one had leaves around it. See that? Now I hope it doesn't take down the netting for the chickens. I actually wanted it on the weld wire, but it's going over the netting also. Look at that. And they're heavy, so it's gonna be a problem eventually. I'll have to figure it out. Excuse me. It's even going down here with the, remember the tomatoes that I told you about? Those teaspoon tomatoes? They're just as aggressive, by the way. These are the teaspoon tomatoes. So, I don't see any fruit on this one, but it's definitely way bigger than the other one. And I only had, what, 3 plants? Now this, again, this is, you know what, y'all ever heard of 4 o'clocks? Apparently, I call it dodder, because dodder, see how it's wrapping up on this tree that we didn't plant? This was a weed at one time. I'm trying to get rid of this stuff. My mom likes 4 o'clocks. This looks like 4 o'clocks to me. See these little flowers? If you don't want this thing, do not plant it because it will not go away. It'll just keep spreading. I'm gonna poison it because it'll take down the well wire. I put the well wire on this fence because the neighbor's fence fell down, and you know, I wanted my dogs to be secure, but look at it. It's just as aggressive as the loofah, except the loofah is prettier to me, although it has these little purple flowers. Back to what I was saying. So there's loofah starting to develop on this thing. See that? So what I'm gonna have to do is try to reinforce this portion because the loofah is gonna take down my net. I can see it happening because they're heavy. They weigh at least 3, they can weigh more than 5 pounds. They can get huge. So the point is, my main point is, you do not want to plant loofah anywhere it can wrap around something and destroy it. Although it's beautiful. See how it's hanging down? I wanted it to cover this part, the well wire part. But look, it's spreading across the netting. So, oh well, you know, you can only hope. And it all started from this point right here. I didn't plant any over there. I planted them right here on this side of the lady. And now look, it goes where it wants to go. Exactly where I didn't want it to go. That's why I planted it right there. That's where it is. That's where it started. The ones on this side got overtaken by these. So they're gone. And every now and then I have to make sure that the 4 o'clocks or the daughter, that's what I call it, does not wrap up on my persimmons. Not persimmons, I call them Chinese apples. So, you know, I have to go out here and keep this clear because I have 4 of them around here and I want 4. I don't want this weed. That's what I call it. I hate this thing. I hate to say hate, but it's true. I do not like this plant. And because I don't like it, it's thriving. Anyway, I could go on and on about it. This is about loofah. So there's my lady. My lady's being covered up. It's so pretty. I think it's so pretty. Look at my chickens in the background. What they're going to start doing is taking their, and they've been eating these leaves. They're going to start sticking their heads through and they're going to get these little tomatoes out. And if they don't, I'll pick some and throw it in there. Yes, this is where I planted them last year, by the way. Same place. Loofah I did not plant here, but I learned last year do not plant loofah near any of your trees because it'll shade it out. It will. Even though it's beautiful. Harvesting. So initially, the loofah is going to be heavy, right? It's going to have water in it. Now, when they're really small, they say you can eat them. I guess like this. Before they get fibrous, you can eat them. I don't eat them. I use them as sponges. So I feel them, and if they have weight to it, just leave them on there and they will get paper light, like a piece of paper when they're ready to be harvested. So just leave them on there when they're heavy. And you can tell this one is heavy. By the way, look at this fence, right? It's pulling it down a little bit. So just put your hand under it, right? And if you feel any weight, leave it there. Leave it there until it dries out, and it will. It will. It may take a little while, maybe a month or 2, but it will dry out and get paper light. Okay, now we're inside. So you are going to wait until this thing dries out and you can hear the seeds in there. You hear that? Here's some more over here. Make that sound. All right? You're gonna take your loofah and it's gonna crunch when you squeeze it. You should hear the crunch. You hear that? Crunch it up. What we're trying to do is make cracks in the foundation of the loofah. The loofah should be paper thin. Okay? You see that? This does not weigh a lot. Very light. Very light. No water in it. If you run out of time, dry it outside, but you could get mold if you don't let it dry on the vine. Usually it's better just to let it dry out there on the vine until it is, you put your hand on it and you should be able to balance it on one finger. Me try to be an acrobat. You see that? You see that? I can hold it up on one finger. Paper thin, right? Just like the ones you buy in the store. Paper thin, because there's no water. Dropped one. There's no water in here. And this is inside of this. So I get a bowl of water or a pot of water. No bleach, no soap, nothing. Just plain water. Because if you use bleach or anything else in this water, the seeds are not going to be any good. And we want to harvest our seeds. So we put it in the water, submerge it, and try to get water back into this thing. All right, so I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna squeeze. And I usually just let this thing sit for a few minutes. Because it's a sponge. Just like this is a sponge. If I take this and put this in the thing, guess what? It's a sponge. You can use this in your bathroom. You can use this in your kitchen. You can use this for everything. It's a natural sponge that I paid very little for. Because once those three plants that are out there, I don't even think there's 3 plants on that fence line. Not on that one. That one is about 3 or 4 that survived. The ones that are over there near the chicken coop, that's trailing over the chicken coop, that's about maybe 3 plants. So I'm gonna bring you down and you're gonna see what's happening to the shell of this loofah. So I'm taking my hand and I'm squeezing, right? And the shell is gonna start coming off. You see these little lines? Just pull them. And they start taking the shell off. You're gonna keep on pulling until, usually I break this top part off because I wanna get the seeds out, right? And you're just gonna take these lines off and keep on rubbing the exterior off. It's gonna get super soft. See that? It's starting to expose the loofah. What's inside is what you want. And you wanna get all of this shell off. The longer you soak it, the easier it is to get off. I'm rushing because I'm on camera, but I'm pulling it off and I'm just rubbing it off, rubbing this off, right? If you go to the bottom and trying to get this bottom piece off, the seeds are in there. The seeds are in the center because the loofah has holes in it. See that? I cut this one in half because it was too long. I like them small. But look at that. See that? Inside here, you're gonna have your seeds. That's what we heard. That's what sounded like a tambourine, or I don't know what the other instrument is called. But you're gonna keep pulling this stuff off, right? And get it all off. Get it all off. Keep messing with it. See that? Pulling the lines. Pulling the lines off. One by one. It's kind of like fish. You know how you clean fish underwater so that you don't make a mess? Same principle here. I just wanted to show you, me pulling this stuff off. Nothing in gardening is super easy, but it is enjoyable. You get some satisfaction from knowing that you're using natural products and you know what you did to it. If you want to bleach your loofah, some people do, because if you're selling it, especially, people don't want the natural sponge unless they know what natural looks like. A lot of people who feel like they're getting natural products are actually getting processed products. And by processed, I mean bleached. So we're gonna keep on taking that off until we get it down to look like this one. Let me show you the difference between a natural sponge and a bleached sponge. This one is a natural loofah that has never, ever been bleached, and this one is bleached. You see the difference? And all I did was stick it in the sink with some bleach and some water until it turned white and got all of the brown stuff. But this is the natural, what the natural sponge look like. People don't like the way natural looks. They want the pretty. They want the pretty ones. See that? I think this one is prettier. So for me, I would use this one, but I offer, I haven't sold any, I've given some away. I've offered people this one because people don't like to look at this. Looks dirty, right? You don't want, like, oh no, she gave me a dirty sponge, girl, I threw it away. And throw away your stuff that you've been toiling over. So we're gonna keep on messing with this thing until we get all of it off, because I wanna show you the seeds. You get a lot of seeds in loofah most time. And the seeds work. The only thing that I have, the only gripe I have about loofah is that it's invasive or aggressive. It's an aggressive plant that will take over. You saw that on the chicken coop, right? So I'm cracking the top open, right? This is where we get to the good part. And inside here are seeds. So I'm gonna pull this off, pull these strings off. And we're gonna turn it upside down and squeeze, and the seeds will start falling out. And let me show you. There's a few of them floating around right now. Do not Do not mistake loofah seeds for watermelon seeds. This is what the seed looks like. See that? And those jokers grow, because the ones I put out there were from last year. They grow. So you just keep on taking the excess off until you get the natural loofah spoon. The natural loofah sponge. Just keep scraping it and moving these lines off, taking these lines, these threads off, and the threads will once you pull them, if you pull them up, they'll take some of the skin off also. Some people, I don't know how they do it. Maybe, I have no idea. They can get the entire skin off in one swoop. I've never had that experience, and I've done a lot of loofah. Done a lot. I got a laundry bag full from last year. Well, half now, because I use them until they, they lose their vigor and their their capabilities, and then I just go and get another one. Just like I use a regular sponge, I use the loofah. Regular sponges wear out also. So there's a loofah. And before I grew this, I thought loofah grew in the sea, like a sponge. Sponges are in the sea, but loofah's a plant. And I like loofah better because loofah will scrub or exfoliate your skin. Sponges are just, soft, and that's for a baby. I need some abrasiveness, especially going out in this garden. I need something to exfoliate to get all of the bad stuff off. So I'm gonna keep on moving around on this thing and scraping this thing. Somebody needs to come up with, maybe there is a tool where you can scrape this thing. I don't know. I haven't seen one yet, besides my hand, to get all of this stuff off. And this is why some of this stuff costs so much, because you can see that it's not easy to do. Although I have seen some ladies who got the entire skin off. They just cracked it and peeled it. I was like, what kind of loofah is that? What kind of loofah is that? So let's talk about it. Sometimes, you start things and you think that because you haven't done it, that it was super easy for that person to attain or to get. And most of the time that is not true. Most of the time people work hard for what they get. I mean, and if you feel that way, you first of all, you should never assume that. Because I thought this was easy to do, right? And I'm watching people on YouTube and they're pulling the entire shell off. And I'm like, oh, I could do that. Because initially when I grew this thing, I was like, how am I going to get this skin off? How? So I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and people would just crunch and pulling the whole thing off. And then I tried it and this happened. If I had soaked it longer, I'd have less of a problem because it comes off super easy. The more you soak it, the easier it is to get the skin off. But my point is, sometimes we assume that people have it easier than they actually have it. Some people make it, they come home from work and you like, oh, what did you do? You ain't do nothing all day. Some people do that to people, their spouses. And I could imagine the spouse feeling so bad because sometimes you don't even want to talk about your day. I've had days like that where, I just didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk about it. That's everything. How was your day? Everything's fine. What's the sense? In my mind, I'm thinking, why complain? There ain't nothing you can do about it. Why am I going to complain? I'm just going to keep on moving. Because if I complain about it and think about it, I'm just going to make myself miserable at this moment in time. And I don't want to think about it no more. It happened. It's over. The day is over. It was, it was a horrible day, but I don't want to go back to that space. And, some people are like that. We don't like talking about the day, unless it was a great day or an exceptionally bad day. But just a regular day where you just had the normal stress that you're used to and nothing extraordinary happened, I don't really want to talk about it. It's work. Unless somebody really, something really irritating happened. I don't want to talk about it. Everybody's not the same though. Some people want to tell you everything. And that sometimes, you know, when you've had a bad day, right? They be like, let me tell you about my day. And you're thinking to yourself while they're telling you that, man, if you only knew what happened to me today, you be quiet. I remember I was talking to my my mom on the phone. I was in Iraq. And she was like, you don't understand what's going on here. I was like, what? Are you who are you? I didn't say anything. I just listened to her. I was like, hey, I was just so shocked because people don't realize how good they have it. You never always miss your water till your well run dry. People don't know how good they had it, and they assume that you ain't going through HELL just because you don't say nothing about it. You be careful who you talk to. You don't know what space they're in or what they're going through. People put on a good front in front of each other. It's like a stage. It's not exactly lying, but it is. Some people will go to the bathroom and cry their eyes out, come out, fix their makeup, and you will never know the pain that they're in. Do not project on people. Don't do it. Don't do it. We had this one guy who was having all kind of issues and don't do it. That's all I'm gonna say. You never know where people, what space people are, what kind of problems they have, or what's going on in their mind, and they put on the front for you. They act like they're strong and like they can handle it all, especially men. Especially men. They act like they can handle everything, that nothing bothers them, and then they either go home and drink themselves under the table, or shoot, some of them cry. Some men cry. I mean, they don't let nobody see them, but they'll go in there and then they'll come back out, and you don't know. Or they go in there and they punch go to the gym, and that's the best thing to do. Go to the gym and work out all their anxiety on those weights. But some people eat. I mean, the people express themselves in different ways. Stress comes out in different ways. Some people don't eat. They get skinny as a rail. I mean, never assume that anybody's life is easy, because most people don't have an easy life. Just like this loofah I'm still messing with. You just keep on picking at it, and an ant can eat an elephant with enough time. You just keep on doing what you're doing and hope for the best. Think to yourself, it's gonna get better, or this is worth it. You think I'll be messing with this loofah if I didn't think it was worth it? Now, everybody's time is different. Some people say, oh, that's not worth my time, but they want the loofah though. It's just like that's just like, and I felt so, I've done it. I've talked to my family members and told them all my problems, and man, some of the people have more problems than me. And I'm not sure if they enjoyed listening to it. And then when I found out what situation they were in, I felt so bad. And you can't apologize for something like that. You can't. Somebody's in a bad space and you calling them and telling them all your minuscule problems. Because to them, that is not a big, some people have, some people, what do they say? One man is driving an old beat up Chevy, and a man at the bus stop is looking at him. Well, the man in the old car, the old beat up car, is saying, man, I wish I had that new car. And the guy at the bus stop is saying, I wish I had that car. I wish I had a car, period. You don't know. You don't know. People smile in your face and they're hurting inside. Some people have it all and they're not happy at all. At all. And once a person is unhappy like that, you can't change it. They got to change that from within. And you may not know that they feel that way. They put on the front. They lie to the world. That's a lie. Nobody wants anybody to feel sorry for them. Well, most people don't. Most people don't want the world to feel sorry for them. So, anyway, here we are. We're almost done. We're almost done. The point of it, and I'm all scrunched up. The point of it is that never assume that anybody has it easy, because you don't know what's going on in their mind. You don't know. Even if you live with them every day, you don't know. You don't know. There's a privacy level. Everybody has a level where there's things that you just don't tell people. You'd be like, and in your mind, or in my mind, I'm like, I could handle this. I've been through worse. That's how I think. But not everybody thinks that. Or if it's really bad, I'm like, you know what? The darkest hour is just before dawn. It's got to get better. It's got to get better. It always gets better. Always remind yourself of that. Never think that you don't stop trying until you under the ground or in a box. There's always an opportunity for you to get better, for things to get better. Never think that it's, there's some terrible things happening to people, yes. But never give up hope. That's when you're in trouble, when you give up hope. So we're going to feel this thing, right? Oh, never give up hope and never assume that anybody has an easy life, because most likely they don't. 99.9% of the time they don't. Everybody has their trials and tribulations. Everybody. Even millionaires, billionaires. Some of them ain't happy. A lot of them ain't happy. So here we go. All right. So this is what a natural loofah looks like. I got all the seeds out. So what you do is you squeeze on it, right? And see if you feel anything hard in it. If you feel something hard, that's a seed. You got to get it out, right? But for the most part, I got everything off of this loofah. I'm still picking because I'm a picky person. See that? Now this one, you see that? That's mold. So what I'm going to do with that is probably dead mold, because this thing has been around for a while. But I'm going to bleach this thing. And it's going to be white as snow. See how that one looks and like that? This is bleached. This is unbleached. I can't give this to anybody because they'll freak out. They'll be like, Jamaica gave me a moldy sponge and told me to use it. I can't give anybody this. So I'm going to put it in the sink with some bleach for a couple of, maybe a half an hour, until it turns white. I'm going to leave it there until it looks like this, white as snow. Because people don't like ugly. Unless it's their baby. And nobody thinks their baby is ugly. Very few people think their baby is ugly. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our seeds out of here. They're in here. All right? They're in here. There wasn't a lot in here, but there are some. The ones that are floating are no good. The ones that go straight to the ground, to the bottom of the pot, those are viable seeds. I'm just going to pull them all out and I'll put them in a separate bowl. See this one floating? Most likely it is no good. The only seeds that I know that float and that are still good are moringa. This one was on the bottom. That's probably a viable seed. And I'm going to run my hand around here and see if I see anything. And I don't. Well, I see a couple of things floating around. I see some seeds floating around. I'll probably put this through a strainer so I can get all of this out. I'm going to take all my trash, and this is the trash. I'm going to throw it in the trash can where it belongs. Or throw it out in the yard. That's trash. So we have our sponge here, and we have some water. You want to put enough water in there to submerge it, and we're going to pour bleach in here. Now, I don't measure. I just put enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit this thing in here until it turns white as snow. And there's still a little bit of extra on here that I got to rub off. Sit it there until it turns white. I'll be back. It's getting whiter. See that? It's only been in here about 5 minutes, but look how lighter it is. How much lighter. I might not get them all out. Might not get all the blemishes out, but I'll get most of them. Sit it for a little bit more. And there we are. White as the driven snow, or beige as the driven snow. Now we have a couple of other, little specks that we need to get off, but that's That's not bad, is it? Not bad at all. I'm gonna wash this thing off in the other side because I'm gonna use this water again. And we'll go over to the table and take a look at the stages, or we'll go through the stages of processing, planting, you know, where to plant, and processing loofah. There we are. Let's go in the sunlight and take a look at it. Isn't that? So now we're just gonna do a refresher on what we just talked about and how to bring it to this stage. All right, I'm gonna walk back out here where the loofah is. It's not gonna be far. I need to clean this place up. It's time for me to start prepping for fall. I got an audience. I got my coachings. They always want to come inside because they were the last ones I let out. So I don't want to preach to you guys because I had to redo this because sometimes I feel like I'm a little preachy. You want to leave the loofah. First of all, you want to plant the loofah in a place where it's not going to trellis over anything. You want to plant it in a place where it has its own space, because if you don't trellis it, it's going to trellis over your trees, over your bushes, and it'll shade them out and probably kill them. Or it's going to damage them like it did my crepe myrtles. And thank goodness crepe myrtles are strong plants because they came back. But last year they were looking pretty bad. They're a little, it has those little, you know, things like the cucumbers, tentacles or whatever that go around and wrap on and attach to things. Because this thing started on the ground, right? You want it to stay on the vine because those things, they weigh about 4 to 5 pounds, because these are full of water when they're in the green stage. Keep them on the vine until they look like this and you can hear it, if at all possible. Some people harvest it when they're green, but you like asking for mold. Do you remember there was mold on this one? So you want to hear the seeds, right? When you pull it out, it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna go in the sun so you can see it. So y'all know what the green one looks like, right? There's the green one right there. This is the green one, or the green ones. And there's gonna be a lot of them. It just keeps flowering. Every time it rains, it flowers again. And it's the weight of a cucumber, a huge cucumber. So take that with a grain of salt. That's how heavy it gets. And it will attach to your bushes if at all possible. Like this one is reaching out. And you see those little curlicues? They wrap up on these bushes, and this thing will cover the entire bush if I don't watch out. So they're gonna dry out and they're gonna look like this. And they're gonna be super light, right? You wanna put it in the water like we did inside, get all of the shell off, and it's gonna look like this, or worse. The other one had mold on it, right? And if you don't want it to, this one wasn't bad, so I just left it the way it is, because this is how natural loofah that has not been bleached looks. Once you bleach it, that's the difference. Remember, this one had a little bit of brown spots on it, and you don't want to give anybody anything that looks like that. So bleach it. Leave it in the bleach until it turns pretty, and then you wash all the bleach off. I still smell bleach, so I'm gonna have to wash this off. I'm gonna soak it in some water because I want to get the bleach smell. By the way, bleach evaporates. The thing is that the bleach weakens the fibers, so you don't want to really leave it on there. You don't want to leave it on there because it'll continue to work on this thing and keep it, and get it white. And you just dry it out. And then you could give it to whoever you want, or you could use it yourself. I use these. This is good for me because I know this is what it really looks like. When you buy it in stores or you buy it from people, most likely you're gonna get one that looks like this, because most people don't want ones that look like this. You can get one like this, then you'll get the seeds and you'll get the sponge. Anyway, I thank you guys for being with me. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life. I hope that you grow your own loofah so you don't have to buy sponges anymore. Those seeds didn't cost me very much. It cost me the price of a pack of sponges, and you'll have sponges for, I've had a laundry bag of sponges that I can use in the bathroom, in the shower, in the kitchen, everywhere that I would use a sponge, to include a washcloth. I can use this, and this is natural with the exception of the bleach. This is more natural. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life. I thank you guys for being with me, and I will see you on the next one. Plant your loofah. Plant it in a place where you don't want any, you don't want anything, nothing else is growing, because it's gonna grow everywhere. Bye, y'all.